Greetings and welcome to part 4 of the Witchcraft Series. Today, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the tools that witches and warlocks, sorcerers, and such utilize, or that you can utilize. Alright? Now, I'm going to show you a bunch of stuff video-wise, and I'm going to discuss it a little bit. And I'm also going to be showing you my altar room as well, because I'm getting ready to close my altar room down and redo it. And what's interesting about this is that you will, over your career as a magician, a practitioner of magic, your, how should I say this, your altar supplies and everything, tools will grow and shrink depending on what you need to do. So with that said, I'm going to start showing you some of the tools that witches and warlocks, sorcerers, and everything in between actually utilizes. Okay? So here we go. Let's see here. I'm not sure if this is going to work or not. How do I get out of the way? Okay, so I'm gonna do it this way. The first thing, this thing here is called a gris bag. A gris bag is something that you utilize to store or carry your items, such as herbalism, vials, and stuff like that. Okay? And to get into herbalism and stuff like this, I would recommend just a couple of practitioners who has really set themselves apart from most practitioners in the field of herbalism, alchemy, and brew makings. The first is Scott Cunningham. This man put in over 40 years, or just about 40 years worth of knowledge when it came to witchcraft, especially that of the pagan attributes of herbalism. Everything we know today has come for herbalism and oils and brews. You can thank just a couple of individuals for this. And yes, one of them happens to be Raymond Buckland, who has at least 20 pages in his book, The Complete Book of Witchcraft by Raymond Buckland. And his experiences is very well known. So this is the first book by Scott Cunningham. It's called The Complete Book of Incense, Oils, and Brews. Very, very good. And he not only breaks it down, but he utilizes it for, how should I say this, certain holidays, such as the equinoxes, the solstices, and all the minor ones in between that practitioners may utilize. The next one is called The Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs, and it's by Scott Cunningham. And it looks like this. Okay. This book here is very, very good. He literally has gone in and he has named just about every type of plant, tree, and from everything from regular stuff to poisons. Alright. The next one is more of the fruits and vegetables, things that we utilize from the markets and everything in between. And it looks like this. And it's called Wicca in the Kitchen. And in Wicca in the Kitchen, he writes a lot about, how should I say this? Not only does he describe what to use and how to use them, but also what they're for through, say for an example, things for vitality, things to increase passion in a lover. Things like, say for an example, how to increase your estrogen or your sex drive or whatever. Right down to everything dealing with your life force. And this is very interesting because you never would have thought about this. The next one is somebody that I actually look up to and happen to be friends with on Facebook. And this guy is actually the purest practitioner I've ever come across. Outside of practitioners like Frank White from the Grail of the Serpent, E.A. Coetting, S. Ben Cayenne, Asenath Mason, Curtis Joseph, Timothy Black, and a few others that I have come across that are true practitioners in the sense. And this guy, his name is Paul Huzon. The first book of him that I'm going to show you or introduce to you is called Mastering Witchcraft, a practical guide for witches, warlocks, and covens. And it looks like this. Okay? This book literally goes into the actual practices. Tells you what a witch is, be it female or male. Literally breaks down the altar supplies, such as the athame, the phallus, getting into the chalice and everything in between. Very, very intelligent man. And I do recommend him to you. The next one is called The Devil's Picture Book, a complete guide to tarot cards, their origins and their usage, by Paul Huzon. And it looks just like this. Okay? Very good book. He goes into a lot of details about this stuff. The next one is called Mastering Herbalism, a Practical Guide by Paul Huzon. And it looks like this. This particular book is much like the Encyclopedia of Herbalism by Scott Cunningham. Very, very detailed, very, very intelligent man who literally put a lot of things together and put into his book. Not many people actually do that these days. The next one is The Complete Book of Spells, Curses, and Magical Recipes. And this one here gets into black magic, or what is considered baneful magic. And it's by Dr. Leonard R. N. Ashley. And it looks like this. Okay? Very good book. He's got a lot of things from talismans to numerology, astrology, sigilliums, right down to the actual spells, potions, and everything in between. And I mean, you got quite a few things in here that you can actually get into on this one topic, but I'm not going to get into that. Another thing that a magician needs is a journal or a grimoire. Now, something like this is a good thing to lock away. It can be utilized as a journal, and it's very, very useful. And I would recommend either a leather-bound notebook that you can get from, say, for an example, Hobby Lobbies, Walmart, Books of a Million, just about any place that sells, like journals and stuff like that, including Ocean Line. Now, another one is what is called a grimoire. That's right, a grimoire. This is where you actually log your magical practices, your experiences. And that is something that most practitioners today do not understand. That they utilize it and they tend to, not really grasp its usage. They share it with other people. They sit there and they show what's in their contents with it, forgetting that the main ingredient to witchcraft, especially that of the witch's pyramid, is to keep silent. This is why a lot of people's magical practices fail or do not come to fruition, is because of this. Now, another thing is tarot cards. Okay? This here was the demon tarot card. And another one is runes. You can even get into the Ouija board, scrying mirrors, and divination tools such as that. But as I said, I'm also going to show you my personal altar room, which is what I'm about to get into right now. And what's interesting about this is the fact that, hold on for just a minute here. There we go. The thing about this is that you've got a number of different things that you can utilize. For an example, you can notice scrolls. Now let me turn on the lights here so you can actually see it. You have the scroll. Okay? You have the cross. As you can see, I have numerous different sigils here. These sigils here are just on the female aspect, or the female divinity of rituals. Whereas over here, I have all these: voodoo, alchemy, celestial, divine, personalized sigils, manifestations, okay? The gateway to hell, and so forth. But what's interesting about this is that I've also got parchment papers, okay, that have invocations and spells to them. All right? Candle holders, the sword, okay? Notice, this is an ancient sword. Something that was given to me, that was passed down throughout the ages from the last 800 years. This is actually a very early manifestation of a sword. Before they got into the medieval and traditions. You have candle holders, candles, the chalice, the phallus, the skull. Notice I have 3 skulls, okay? Skulls are the way to the spiritual realm. They are the link between the dead, or the spirit world, and our reality. The altar cloth within the pentagram. The Niagara, the house of the spirit. Okay? The cauldron. The oils and brews. The incense sticks. The statues. Okay? But then you have things like alchemy, sulfur, dragon's blood, the epistle and pedestal. You have rusty nails. You have brews, okay, such as dragon's blood. You have a bunch of grimoires, okay. Each one of these is a pivotal force that discusses in detail its own meanings, its own usage, okay. And one of the things that a witch and a warlock really needs to have is a clear understanding of spices. As you can see, I have numerous spices here. From black sand, black pepper, salts, cujun, mushrooms, ginger. Okay, you name it, I have it. Why? because it is something that is utilized in spell work. This stuff here is very, very useful in spell work. Be it baneful magic or what is classified as white light magic. What's interesting to note, though, is that nowhere in any grimoire, nowhere in any magical text does it state anything about white light magic and black magic. Authors have actually written about the dark arts, such as Raven Cavendish, or Richard Cavendish, I should say. Okay? And a few others. But nowhere does it define black magic from white magic, or gray magic, or green magic. These are things that have sprung up over the last 100 years. Plain and simple. And what it really comes down to is what you're willing to do throughout your practice. Your willingness to succeed, to power. Anyone getting into black magic will tell you it's about power. Who has it and who doesn't. How do you achieve power? Well, now that I've shown you the tools that you'll need, things that you will be studying and practicing within your own magical journey throughout the world. It doesn't matter what tradition, style, or form that you study. Magic is magic, plain and simple. It only comes down to the practitioner's will, which defines it as either good or evil. Even the Bible speaks of it, that God does know that once you've eaten thereof of the tree of life, that you shall become as gods, knowing good and evil. That's Genesis chapter 3, verse 5. In verse 22, it says, "Behold, here is man who has become like one of us," meaning other gods. Okay? Now, how do you suppose this really relates to black magic? How does it relate to witchcraft? Well, through witchcraft, Devin Hunter actually put it the best way. When we're born, we have power. We have access to that power. But only due to the inflictions done by humanity throughout our growth, we've lost that. And it's time to get that power back. Even E.A. Koetting has spoken on this. Frank White has spoken on this. And many practitioners have spoken on this. So keep in mind that when you get into witchcraft of any kind, be it druidism, shamanism, Santa Morte, Santeria, La Santa Morte, Umbanda, Quimbanda, Voodoo, Voodoo, Hoodoo, Satanism, witchcraft, paganism, or any form, style, or tradition that you feel like getting into, remember this: it is about power. Plain and simple. Who has it and who doesn't. But it comes down to your will and how the laws of the land interpret your will. Okay? Individuals from one tribe to the next, as I stated in the first, or I should say the second video after declaring this series, is that every tribe is different, legally speaking wise, because each tribe has a different point of view of magic. One may view having both baneful magics and white magics as being legal, whereas in another one, only white magic is legal. In another tribe, it speaks of something else as being harmful, such as the Bokor or Bokor within voodooism, especially that of the traditional African viewpoints, or Haitian for that matter, Jamaican, Colombian, and so forth. These practices are worldwide, and it does come down to the land and the laws of that land. It is a natural force that can be built up over the years. The more you practice, the more you delve into it, the more power you get. Not only through your personal practice and study, but also by helping other people. When you get into helping clients and dealing with their stuff, you're actually sending your will out there, and your power is being received. You're being noticed by the universe. You're being noticed by your clients. And it's like, hey, this guy or this woman is very powerful. She helped me out. Guess what? Her magic or his magic works. And this is something that's classified within the first Chronicles or Second Chronicles chapter 11. I think it's the first one, where it says that you show me your works, your dead works, I will show you my good works with my good deeds. And what's interesting is that witchcraft has nothing to do with Christianity. Satanism has nothing to do with Christianity. It has nothing to do with anything of the Judeo-Christian society. And yet, people today are literally taking these practices and becoming Christian witches. They are becoming Christian Satanists and getting into this crossbreeding of hypocrisy. And because you can't be a witch and be in Christianity, because they will outlaw you, they will shun you, they will burn you at the stake, and they will dub you the devil or the Antichrist. Believe me, I know. I've had Christians try to preach to me. I've been attacked by Christians, and I've been dubbed a devil, a demon in their eyes. But most importantly, I've had people come to me, and as soon as you help them, turn around and smite you. I've had witch hunters come my direction. And this is things that you as the individual will come up against throughout your practices. You will find haters. You will come up against enemies. And you will have to deal with them eventually. Now, how do you deal with them? Well, that's something for another video down the road. So for now, I will end this video, and then the next video that I do, I will actually get into the actual practices of witchcraft and how to perform them. All right? So for now, this is the 4th installment of Witchcraft, the Witchcraft Series, The Tools. All right? Have a good one.